Okay, so this is a channel update of sorts for you guys. The game audio didn't record, so you'll just hear me talking. There's not really going to be much of anything to go with it, I'm afraid, but it, it's not really anything special. I will go ahead and spoil a little bit for you guys. This is when I got the Rathlos Ruby. At this point of the game, in case you're wondering just where I am exactly, since we are looking at the release of Apex Los soon, probably about a week from this video being posted, but I actually have beaten everything there is to get. At this point, I'm just trying to fill out my list of drops. I think I'm just missing like Mizu and Narwa or something like that. Um, and the other thing I'm trying to do is Crown Hunt. That's pretty much what I'm kind of focusing more on, to be honest. So whenever I get into one of these hunts, I try to look at what else is here other than the target monster and try to kill it before it flees. Because that whole fleeing mechanic is so stupid. But yeah, otherwise, if you want to see what I'm using late game, this is the set. It's a mishmash type thing because I don't actually have all the proper parts to make what I really want to use, so I'm just doing like a hodgepodge type thing. This is a spare shot set for the most part with like attack 5 or attack 6 in it. I just need drops to. Oh yeah, I'm trying to take the pictures here and there wherever I can, see if there's an award that goes with that. Uh, but as I was saying, I don't have all the bits and pieces I need. And I'm not really in any rush for that either because I'm not going to speedrun any of these monsters. I'm not going to bother trying. Uh, that's all it really comes down to, I'm afraid. So, as long as I'm able to clear them, that's great. Blue, Crimson, and the others, I don't even know if they've played for like 2 weeks, so I don't know if they're done with the game or what they plan on doing. As a result, I'm just looking on to other things, which is part of the reason for this update. So, schedule wise, Um, the newest game that came out was Darkside Detective 2, which was on the 15th. The next game of interest I have is on May 28th, which is 7 years from now, so I'm finally touching back on that. I don't know if it's going to Switch, PC, or what, but it's appearing on a different platform that's easier for me to record than phone. So, May 28th, I'm going to try to catch up to where I am currently in the playlist, or if there's really that much of a desire, I guess I could try to re-record it in high def, but it being a voxel game, I imagine they're like the graphics aren't why you'd want to play that, so I'm not seeing that happening. Anyway, about a week later, we have Edge of Eternity coming out. That one, I did the early access stuff, which I think is like the first chapter of the game. They've made a lot of progress since then, but I haven't really gone back to it. I may do a visit just to see where they're at, and I don't know if I'm going to actually go through with playing it or not. It's differed quite a bit from what I was expecting, and that's partially why I never really went back to it. The other part is the updates are just at inconvenient times, and yeah, with the whole lockdown thing and me being declared an essential worker, I just haven't had as much time to record, unfortunately, which is why the visual novels went to the wayside. Otherwise, I don't really have too much else listed for the rest of the year. I have Legend of Mana on June 24th. That one I'm on the fence about because I haven't played a mana game before. I don't really know what all to expect, so that would be like one of my fortes. I did buy, I think, the mana collection. I actually have it here, so let me grab it and see. It is collection of mana. Do they tell me what all is on here? Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana. I haven't played any of those, but I do have the hard copy to actually give it a shot to. So if there's interest in it, I guess I could do it, which would be a blind playthrough, and that brings me to the next topic. So I don't really know what all is coming in terms of new-ish games. There may be stuff that pops up literally out of nowhere, so I was thinking about going back and just doing playthroughs of some of my collection. Now, there are some new games that I am looking at picking up that I will go ahead and go over. So one of them is the Fata Morgana Switch version because I got partway through the PS4 version and then I had to give the PS4 back for a while and I do have it, so if I hook it back up after I do my PS3 business, I can go back to that. We'll get back to the PS3 business in a second. I have the Atelier, I think it's Dusk Trilogy on Switch. The Mysterious Trilogy is coming out. I played Aisha, and it's my first Atelier game of that style. My very first game was actually Iris, which is more like the Manichemia series now. So I don't really know too much about these games, what to expect. Ultimately, I was kind of disappointed because I think the characters are more like Moe Blob type things, and it's not really holding my interest. But if there's interest in this and people can actually like explain what the huge draw is, I could go into those. Otherwise, Saga Frontier has come out recently, and that is one of the things I was thinking about picking up since I've done everything I need to do in Monster Hunter. Anything I do from here is going to be like theory videos. Made a shotgun set using the Magnum Light bowgun, Raknakadaki parts, Rajang parts, and I think Anjanath parts. All in all, it's kind of fun until you run out of scatter ammo, and then it gets a little painful. You have to make sure you can land the normal threes. And if you're in a multi monster hunt, then the shrapnel threes are really, really brutal. But yeah, Saga Frontier is definitely a front runner. If I pick this up, I'm going to be importing it through PlayAsia, so I actually have a physical copy. So just so you guys know, timetable wise, it's going to take some time to get to me. And actually, they mentioned this hasn't actually been printed yet, so it's going to be released on May 31st, the physical that is, and then I can pick it up. In terms of strategy games, we have ST Gundam G, or G Generation G Crossrays. That's a mouthful. The Platinum Edition, that is another one that I can get a physical release of that I may look into. My concern with this one is I don't know what kind of copyright crap I'm going to be looking at because I don't know how they are with music. I don't think they're as bad as Macross. And for some of these, I am not actually familiar with them. Like, I did not look into anything related to Iron Blood Orphans. For Gundam Seed, I watched the first part, the first series with Kira and Athran, and I didn't really like it. I just felt it was like a retelling with better graphics of the original Gundam, and I never bothered with Destiny or any of the other crap. For Double O, I'm a little bit familiar with that one. That's like Exia. Okay, yeah, I can't think of any of the other ones. I know there's an Exia in there, but that one just didn't really interest me either. It had a really, really bad first episode that kind of ruined crap for me, I'm afraid. When all the characters are laughing, saying it's time for half an hour, no, you do not have my interest. Throwing that out there. But otherwise, they do have some of the older stuff that I am familiar with Gundam Wing, Gundam X. I think they even have Zeta and Double Zeta. Zeta is just depressing, man. I'm not going to spoil that one, but if you get into it, no, that is not a happy ending. But otherwise, those are the acquisitions I was looking at online. Otherwise, the other things I was going to talk about were visual novels. So there is interest, I know, in me going back to crud. What's the space game called? Quantum Suicide. That's it. I was asked about the Beatrix route that I need to get back to, and yeah, I'll try to knock that out. It's just going to be a little tricky timing everything. I think I have like most of the Kimiko stuff recorded. I just haven't edited it, so I have a huge list of things to put together, including Finding Paradise. But I'm really in no rush for that one. Um, the other things I was going to go over. So, PS3 business. As of this video, if you haven't heard, the whole PS3 or PS Store shutdown for the PS3 crisis has basically been averted. I was still going to pick up some of the games. I was looking at the Suikoden series. I was going to pick up the first one. I could cover that because I'm trying to make preparations for Auden when it finally comes out. Um, the other ones that I was looking at for there, let me see. I actually did make a list of games to look more into. I know people are big on horror games, but the Fatal Frames are a little old at this point. I could try those. I've only played, I think, the third one, or I don't know if it was the second or the third. I want to say it was the third, though. So that's one. People make a big deal out of Legend of Dragoon, but I never actually played it, so I can't quite comment. And then people were telling me about Wild Arms, so that was another one that I was going to look into. I don't know if you guys have any opinions on these. Until I get to like the next major project, I probably will do the Scott Pilgrim thing that was requested. As far as I can tell, Blue isn't going to play it, so it'll just be me solo. If that is a deal breaker for you guys, mention it now or forever hold your peace. But otherwise, in terms of the older games I was going to cover, I could go as far back as my PS1 collection since I have the PS3 over here. I have some PS3 games like Folklore. It was a contender for being a Halloween project. It's just hard to line up. Um, I no, I won't do that one. There was a different one that was coming to mind, but yeah, I'm not gonna bother with any of the Tales games. I'm done with that series as much as I kind of hate to say it. So that one is good as dead, but I could also go towards my other parts of my collection. I have my Wii U over here, so I can do any of the Wii games. I could do Xenoblade on the Wii, but with that on the Switch, I imagine that's probably just the better version to get. Um, I never bothered opening my copy of Last Story, so I'll probably leave that one sealed and just cross that one off the list. I do have Pandora's Tower for the entire Rainfall trilogy. I have Arc Rise Fantasia. That one I was kind of interested in doing just because the game is kind of notorious for its difficulty, and like the thing that's kind of a deal breaker for this is I don't think, other than Xenoblade Chronicles, clearly, any of them actually have a chance of a re-release. So I just don't think there's that much interest in them. The like I get a lot of feedback for the Nocturne thing I did in the past, and I'm probably not going to get Nocturne on the Switch unless it comes with a pretty steep price cut. Basically, try to fish out of a bargain bin or something. So, in case the Rido thing actually is something of note, it's going to be some time before I actually cover that. Otherwise, you know what? I have my Switch right here. Let me just open the thing because I have some Switch games here that I could do also. So, we covered Pokemon in its entirety already. I wanted to do the triangle strategy thing, but it's just I never had the time to sit down. I don't know what kind of time commitment I'm looking at for that type of thing, so I've just been kicking it further and further back. Bravely Default 2 is dead to me. I have the Boot Hill series I can go back to. I have Romancing Saga 3. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm not going to do any of the Final Fantasy stuff. I do have Star Ocean First Departure, but I haven't finished playing that one yet, so I'm not entirely familiar with what all to expect. Otherwise, I'm still trying to look into what potential horror games you guys might be interested in. I picked up Elder Vale a while ago at the recommendation of Phoenix, so I could look into that one if like people are really hyped for horror for some reason. As much as I hate to say, you just open a newspaper today and see something scarier than anything in any video game, but I kind of digress. May have gotten a little real for you guys there for a moment. And then the final order of business that I have before we can wrap this up is I've kind of alluded to it here and there. I don't know how many people picked up to it, but I did create a library channel. It is actually, yes, Hero of Light. So it automatically migrated the last year of my videos from when I actually did it. So a lot of my stuff is automatically set up to back up there, and I just need to manually add some of the older stuff that there was quite a bit of interest in. So when I finally get a chance, I am going to need to sit down and just start uploading there and putting the older stuff in, but not sure on the timetable for that. The reason why I'm bringing this up is I don't know the ins and outs of library entirely just yet, since I haven't really done much of anything with the channel other than the automatic backups. If you guys prefer seeing stuff on that platform, know that I am there, but I don't know where else I'm gonna go. I've had a lot of problems trying to put stuff on BitChute that I've literally given up on that one. So if you see my channel there, or even worse if you're subscribed, I've fully abandoned that thing until they do some sort of overhaul. It's set up to do an automatic backup just like Library is, except Library is much, much, much better at it than BitChute is. So you may get a random video here or there where it's just the backups, but I don't respond to anything there. The channel is just there. I don't know what work they plan on doing in the future. They had a lot of ideas, goals, dreams. I don't know what you want to call them exactly. And in my opinion, they kind of failed to attain and even come close to living up to those. So yeah, I'm kind of done with BitChute. But otherwise, library is looking fairly promising. I just have to see what the restrictions are for uploads because some of my older stuff I know gets fairly lengthy. For especially the older Cold Steel stuff, I try to make a video an entire in-game day. Those were pretty sizable. For Cold Steel 3 and 4, I think I actually got to the habit. Well, there were so many NPCs that I kind of had to start breaking crap up to where it won't be as much of an issue for those, but just a heads up on if you're hoping to see the Legend of Heroes stuff there, it's that one's kind of lower priority for me. But otherwise, right here, you're at the end of the hunt, so yep, there goes Magnamallow, and I just have to go back and get Los. And like I said, I do get a Los Rupee as a reward. I know a lot of people are they want those for Los parts or whatever. I end up getting it here, but I've never used it. I haven't found a use for it yet. Just keep it up. It's rare. That's all I can tell you if you're trying to get it yourself. I imagine the Apex stuff will probably be better. But yeah, that is currently where we're at. Um, as for older projects, I mentioned the Quantum Suicide. It's just a little hard to find the time that I need to sit down and actually do an entire visual novel thing, which is why they haven't made an appearance just yet. With Monster Hunter pretty much done, I'll try to at least do the Quantum Suicide stuff, and if I can free up the time to do Fata Morgana, I will. It's just, in the past, I always wanted to do like 1 hour videos for those, and it's hard to get that amount of time uninterrupted. When I did Fata Morgana originally, I had a very awkwardly timed job, I'll put it that way, that gave me time in the middle of the night to record, and that's why back when I had that job, my uploads were extremely consistent. But since I moved on to bigger, better things, and that place was a hellhole to begin with, we kind of have to try to adapt. And just didn't help that the world situation was not very cooperative. But anyway, there's the Los Trap and two Tranks, and down he goes. I do not believe that I can't quite see on my screen if that was the smallest or the largest I found. I've only found a Silver Crown large Los. I haven't found a record or a significantly small one. So yeah, cross your fingers that one day I do find them, and maybe I'll even have the camera rolling at that time. But otherwise, that is it for now, folks. Marvel at the Ruby, if you will, and I am out of here. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.